Well, Top G Andrew Tate is going to talk some straight up patriarchy without ever using the word. It may not even be correct in the way that he's talking about patriarchy, but it is straight up patriarchy, unapologetic patriarchy. And when I was listening to this strange exchange he was having with Frankie Lee on Frankie Lee's show, who I don't know who that guy, I guess he's a pretty well known podcast guy or whatever. But straight up patriarchy. Now, if you're liking this content, give me a like, subscribe, and give me a comment below on just unapologetic patriarchy. Let's hear what Top G has to say about the patriarchy.
I would like to have as many versions of me as possible on the planet. God will decide how many come. Women take 9 months to grow a whole baby because they're slow. That's their problem. Children will be made. Yeah. That's the bottom line. Children will be made.
But good things take time.
Well, yeah, they do. But
children will be made. Women are too slow. They take 9 months at a time, but the children will be made. Okay, this is straight up unapologetic patriarchy.
I mean, I can say some really controversial things. In fact, I'll say them.
Oh,
so one of the primary reasons Western society as a whole is failing. One of the primary reasons it's failing is because men have been cucked by women into only having children, only then. A woman will come along to a man and say, have my kids. I want kids. We're going to have children. And the man will go, okay, fantastic. And she'll go, but don't have kids with anyone else. And he'll go, okay. And then he'll go and he'll work his ass off and he'll, try his very best. And then she'll say, okay, I need a nanny and I need a bigger car for the kid. And we need a car seat. And the kid needs to go to piano lessons. We need a bigger house. We need a playroom. And he'll slave away to get one or two kids out of this woman. And then if he asks her for a third, she'll say no. I don't want to have any more kids. It's too hard. Get pregnant's too hard. And we need another nanny. And I want to go on holiday. And I want a Birkin bag. I want Instagram likes. So this female and her whims, her emotions, her primary concerns, which a lot of the time are just showing off, have limited that man's genetic potential massively. Now, those are the most successful men in Western society.
Whoa! Now listen to that. Listen to that. He is. This is straight up unapologetic patriarchy. He's saying the wife's whims and her wants are limiting this man's ability to have progeny, and Top G says that's not acceptable to him. The lady's whims, her wants and desires, it is not acceptable for those to override this man's prodigy. Whoa! Unapologetic patriarchy, not. He doesn't say that in it, but it's about when I was just smacked me right in the face, like, whoa, this is unapologetic patriarchy.
The least successful men don't have that problem. There's breaders on the street with no money, 9 baby mothers, taxpayers raising all of them, doesn't care. So who's reproducing? Think about it. Who's reproducing in Western society? It's not our best. It's actually the opposite.
He's implicitly saying our best are not reproducing because because they are at the beck and call of their wife's desires, her whims and her desires. That is why the West is not reproducing. I don't know if anybody caught that, but man, this is unapologetic patriarchy.
Immigration rates are getting out of control. You wonder why London's not white anymore. Well, that's because they have kids, the immigrants. And their wives, their women aren't saying, I need a bigger house and a nanny. No, their women just have children because that's their culture, to have kids. That's what they're for. Western women.
Whoa, now catch that. In the other cultures that are coming, he's talking about the UK, England specifically. He said, boy, that's a hot take. He says, these women believe that is what they are for, to have children. Oh my goodness. Can you believe this didn't get removed from YouTube just for that one statement? That these women believe their purpose is only to have children. Wow. Cue the effinists to scream and cry and throw tomatoes.
Western women don't think that way. Western women are uninterested in having kids until they're 32. I want to follow my career. What's your career? Instagram? What's your career? You're out every night. Name a career. You haven't got one. What you want to do is follow the money. follow the bag, and go Maldives and take pretty pictures. That's what you want to do. So they're wasting their most fertile years on dumb shit. When we talk about the population collapse in the West, this is exactly why. Because men are not like me to sit and say, I want children.
Okay, so here's what Top G does. Now, this is unapologetic patriarchy. Here's what he tells his women. All right, let's hear about it. Let's hear about what he tells the women.
Wasting their most fertile years on dumb. We talk about the population collapse in the West. This is exactly why. Because men are not like me to sit and say, I want children. I'll have a kid with you. Cool. And if you take too long to grow it, listen, 9 months is how long it's supposed to take. Double up. That's your problem. Get it done. If it takes too long, I'll have kids with her. Oh, but I don't want you to. Tough. Tough. Because my genetic legacy is more important than your feelings.
Oh, man. Can you imagine anybody telling a woman this, a woman this? I mean, it just smacked me right upside the head. My genetic legacy is more important than your feelings. Whoa. Unapologetic patriarchy.
I'm dead and gone. They will talk about how many children Andrew Tate had. They will not talk about the fact that some chick cried and told him what to do, and he was scared of her getting mad at him. I'm not afraid of you. So I'm going to have his kids with whoever the fuck I want. Like men have always done.
When I'm dead and gone, they will talk about the descendants of Top G or whatever man. Is that instead, if you don't give me any of those descendants, then they will talk about how my wife moaned and cried and said, no, I don't want to do it. And I didn't have any. Wow. Just, oh my goodness. Has anybody ever said this anywhere? I don't think I've ever heard on that. Maybe that's why this guy's unique. I have never heard a guy talk like this anywhere. Anywhere I've gone. Even anything I've ever listened to online. I've never heard a man talk like this before. Just unapologetic patriarchy.
That's all we've ever done. So the Western society now, the females have cucked men into sitting there only having kids with them. If you have a woman that says only have kids with me, the deal is, okay, have as many as I want. If you'll give me 20 children, if you'll be pregnant for the next 20 years, deal. But if you're going to start saying, oh, one's enough, well then, sorry, the human race needs to, it's more, the human race, females in their narcissism, don't think outside of themselves. The human race and Western civilization is more important than your crybaby feelings. So we need children on the planet. We're literally collapsing.
So there's that. Top G, he is okay with monogamy and being committed to one woman if the deal is you'll give me as many kids as you possibly can. As you possibly can, then I'm okay with it. If not, if you limit that, then I am going into polygyny, meaning grabbing another. Well, he's probably not marrying any of these women. So I guess grabbing another girlfriend and having more kids, just like Elon Musk is doing. I think Elon Musk is up to 11 now. That's all he's doing. He's just I think he's got some weird AI algorithm he uses for the women that he selects. But he has like 11 kids with these women because he's picks and he has kids with them. And he said, it is my duty to procreate and secure my bloodline. Right. And Top G is saying the same thing. I've never heard anybody just lay it out this in your face and plain before. Unapologetic patriarchy.
That's the bottom line.
So what would you say to all the women listening to this podcast then that are entrepreneurial women that have got these e-commerce brands, they're doing a couple of million, there's quite a lot of women out there that's being successful in business. What would you say to them then? Because they're putting off being a mother to do the business stuff.
Well, I'd say congratulations on their success. And I'd say they should get pregnant at the same time.
Oh, wow. Get pregnant at the same time while you are working. Let's hear the reason behind this. This was interesting. Let's hear the reason behind this, the reasoning.
Think of all the things I could do simultaneously. I can be a convict and one of the most famous men on the planet simultaneously. Elon, as we just discussed, puts rockets in space and owns the largest electric vehicle company in the world. And now he's going to work directly for Doge, cleaning up the government all at the same time. A lot of it's just cope. A lot of it's just excuses.
So I think what Top G is saying here is that because men and women are equal, he's saying, well, I can do two things that are hard to do, and I can do them at the same time. Why can't women who can have a career, which is a hard thing, and have children at the same time? I can do hard things. They can do hard things too. And he's saying, it's just because it's cope. It's just excuse making. It's hard, so I don't want to do it. Ooh, boy, another slap in the face.
Females, I believe, have, I wouldn't say obligation because that's going to be used against me, but typically it was the men who build and it was the women who provide the children. For Earth, men build the cities, men build the roads, men build, women give us the children. Well,
men build, women give us the children. Now, I've also said in a previous video, that's a good point. I've also said in a previous video that men are expected to go to war to protect the society. And I believe if it's the duty of men to go to war to protect society, which is still the deal in 2024, almost 2025, that's still the deal. The selective service is only for men. Only men have to sign up for selective service to be drafted in America currently today. Women do not have to do this. And so if men are required by law to protect society, then what are women required to do for society? Men are required to protect society so that it continue and go on. Women then should also, in my opinion, be required to have children if they can, so that society can go on. We're both doing our duty in society. Now, no one will ever say that. No one will ever. You're only going to hear it here. But now he's saying the men build, the women provide the children. I'm saying the men protect so that society can go on, and the women procreate so that society can go on as well. Like we're both providing something so that society can continue. It's only logical. It only makes sense. There we go.
Well, birth rates are collapsing, and we've built more than we've ever built. So men are doing their job. Men are still building all these things, but we can't seem to get the kids we need.
So men are doing their duty, as always, and women are not doing their duty. Huh. Interesting thought. Interesting thought.
This is only a Western world phenomenon. This is not the case in many places on the planet. We now have a society where women have been liberated from their obligation. And we've asked them, okay, you don't have to have children, which is your traditional obligation. What do you want to do instead? And let me ask you, and I'm going to ask you a question now.
Oh, here we go.
Women have been unchained, unshackled from their original obligation, which was reproduction.
Now, just a side note there, that is one of the core tenets of feminism, of even first wave and certainly second wave feminism, is the woman must be unchained from the home. That's one of the core. She has to be liberated from the home so that she can pursue and be equal, do equal work, and blah, 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 whatever. It's one of the core tenets there of feminism. So Top G is saying, okay, now that they've been unshackled from the home through different means, through birth control and, through things, that was one of the main ones. What have they done? What has happened in general, on average in society? What's happened?
Have they done of merit since?
Become real estate agents in Dubai.
Well, there you go. You have Instagram models, you have porn stars, you have girls going to work, doing a job, which truthfully a man could do better, and we all know it. What are they doing instead? That matters as much as children. Or have they done anything at the same level as reproducing?
There's nothing in my mind that matters as much as them being able to have children if they want children.
Absolutely.
I understand that. But I know some phenomenal entrepreneurial women
completely
that listen to this podcast as well that have also done some mad stuff.
Absolutely.
All right. So he makes the point. You got to catch this. He makes the point that he knows some exceptions. He knows some exceptional women. So obviously then the rule that disproves the rule that women should be reproducing primarily so that society can continue. Top G's going to have a response.
Completely. And here's
so there's polarity in that.
no, of course, but here's where we get into the difference between the man and the female, the masculine and the female mind, because females will think exceptions disprove the rule. Men don't. When you talk about subjects like this, there's going to be a woman watching this who's very successful who's going to be insulted because she's an exception to the general rule.
Yeah.
But that's not the point. When you talk about geopolitics, when you talk about population collapse across a nation, you can't talk about exceptions to the rule. If I talk about the fact that the Western typical family in Britain doesn't have many children, and that's why the population's collapsing, it's asinine to turn around and say, here's one family that has 10 kids. Yeah, that is one family that has 10 kids. But we're talking geopolitically, and we're talking about society as a whole. We're talking about the trend as a whole. You're right. Some women are fantastic entrepreneurs. Agreed. However, the majority of breeding age females do not have children, not because they're fantastic entrepreneurs. It's because they're scrolling TikTok, they're pissing around, they refuse to have kids, they don't want to, they want Birkin bags and Instagram likes, and they're doing nothing at all important. That's the reality of
it. What a fantastic point. There are some rock star women out here who are doing things, and that's why they're not having kids. But the bigger point, and I think he's absolutely correct, is that the average women out here are not having kids and they're not doing anything of substance with their life, contributing to society. I think he's absolutely correct on that. The exception doesn't disprove the rule. And the rule is that average women need to find an average man and have kids, or society will not continue. So that's the clip. That's talking about population collapse. But the thing that I thought was way more profound than population collapse, because I think more and more people are starting to realize that we are in a dire situation in all first worlds and probably second world countries. I think the only ones that don't have population collapse currently are third world countries. As soon as they become more economically successful, then they start to have the same demographics as well, where their population starts to collapse. But anyway, larger point is just unapologetic patriarchy. I don't think I've ever heard anyone talk like this. I just had to put a clip out there about it. I mean, it's just great. Now, the Bible is a patriarchal book. Anybody who tries to get around that no, it's egalitarian, blah, 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 you're just not being honest. It is. Now, is it to that level where we just where we just kick the wives aside if they can't have children? No, it's not to that level. Although Abraham and Jacob, the patriarchs of the faith, Abraham and Jacob, both, when they couldn't have children, they said, okay, we're going to grab somebody else. So, I mean, it's interesting. Top G's perspective, we can see that in Scripture. That's a little bit interesting to me, and it is what it is. Give me a comment below. What do you think about this? What do you think about this conversation? And I always end with this. No matter if the population's collapsing, no matter if it's patriarchy, egalitarian, blah, blah, whatever it is, Christ promised to us that he will win because he will build his church and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. Until next time, this is the Post Millennial Man.